Okay, thank you, Gideon. This marks the beginning of the recording of this meeting. We did discuss something that we forgot to record, so just to recap, for the recording's sake, we talked about a Principality Day in April, and we have unanimously, well, Dieter, you haven't chimed in yet, so if you wanted to, please do. But everyone who has agreed to skip the April Principality Day because it's not required for a kingdom bid, since that ended last month, and we feel it would be more productive to use this time over this month to prepare for the season of events, which starts the following month, and then is sort of just back to back to back to back with events after that.
And just to recap for the recording, I myself, Rosedaff, have agreed to that. Gideon has agreed to that, and Aryan has agreed to that.
Sounds good to me.
All right, well, that makes it a unanimous decision, and that makes me happy. And I feel comfortable saying that because I didn't say this on the recording, but I did chat with Hars about this when I was in Anchorage for Principality Day, and oh, here he is now. We can talk to him. Afternoon, Hars, or evening, I suppose. Give us a shout when you're set up there, Hars.
Shout, I'm in now.
Okay, good deal. So essentially, all you've missed is we kind of talked about the April Principality Day, and everything you and I talked about at the Spenard Rec Center. And so far, everyone here was in agreement with skipping the April Principality Day in order to set up for the season of events. Was I correct in understanding that you were also in favor of that?
Correct.
All right, sweet deal. So that does make it a unanimous decision, which I love. And we can move right on to the other item on tonight's agenda, and that is the approval of the 5 miners in Icefire Bay. We did get a chance, we did have Arian post a write-up for each of the 5 of them on the CoC Facebook page, so I believe everyone has had the chance to read that. But for the recording's sake, Arian, was there anything you wanted to say about any of those 5 kids?
Well, I guess just a note on all of them. They are all exceptional kids, and I definitely would love to see them all fighting and having a great time on the battlefield because there's so many great aspects to Amtgard and so many great learning things, but really the funnest part that makes everybody want to come and stay is the fighting and getting out there and getting to swing some foam and practice it all out there with everybody.
And from what I read there, is it true that all of these kids either have played on your field from before, either before this rule was around or before Icefire Bay was aware of it, or they play with relatives at home?
Except for Ragnar and Baron, they have recently come in the last couple months or so and have been staying to the side and watching, and then the 2 of them actually have been sparring quite a bit in between battle games.
Okay. So all of the kids have at least some form of actual combat experience in Amtgard.
Yes, I've gotten to see them all swing foam, take hits, learn where the different strike areas are. They're very attentive to how the game plays.
Okay. For anyone who wasn't logged in yet, so couldn't see the message, and for the recording's sake, I will state that I knew it was going to be hard for Gideon to chime in vocally for this meeting, so I asked him to just write up his opinion whenever he got this chance, and his message, I can't switch between screens, so I won't be able to read it word for word, but essentially he said if the local monarch is in favor of it, then he's comfortable with it, and he also had the same statement I did about it. Sounds like all of them have some form of experience, so he feels that it would be okay.
If I were to ask one question, see, I usually am with Gideon on this one. Like, usually if the Monarch's comfortable with playing, then I'd say all for it. But my only question is just sort of a secondary question that anyone in future reference goes through with this is, would you feel comfortable, like, say you go to a big Amcard event like Wolf's Cry or Solstice Wars or Dungeon Crawl, and they end up going, would you feel comfortable with them fighting in a big scale battle game like that?
Yes, I would.
Alright, then there you go.
I think the only comment I have on any of the 5 kids is that you should encourage Baron Falco to consider changing his Amtgard name, just because Baron is a title, and I can see that creating a lot of confusion, although it's really not that big of a deal, I guess, now that I say it out loud. Food for
I will mention it to him. He has been working with his final name a bit. He did go by the Seventh Son of Sin or something like that for a minute, and that seemed like kind of a long title. So it's a work in progress.
Okay, well maybe just make that comment to him and let him know that titles are a thing.
I will indeed. Actually, Baron is his legal first name.
I was about to ask if that was his Amtgard name or his real name, because I know there are people named Baron.
Oh, this is the first time I'd ever heard that, but that's kind of cool.
Right?
So the only thing that I had in question, looking at all their ages, are their guardians or parents going to be present during game days?
If their guardian isn't present, then their parents know that they will need to get a notarized form. That's my understanding, is that if their parent isn't there, then we have to have that notarized form, and I feel totally comfortable taking that responsibility. My sister does have a notary, and during ANS on Fridays, we can get those forms taken care of for the following day.
Yeah, as long as a parent or legal guardian is present, and that legal guardian can be a temporary legal guardian acquired by one of those notarized forms. So,
Awesome sauce. I am ready, pretty much ready to vote.
okay. Sorry, I think someone was about to say something. No? Okay, we will get moving then. For simplicity and speed's sake, is anyone against voting for all 5 of them at once? As in, is there anyone here who would prefer to vote for them individually?
I think for the recording's sake, we should vote individually.
Okay, that's fair enough. Does somebody have a second screen in front of them where they can actually read the names for us? Because I do not.
I can pull it up really quick.
Thank you.
Alright, so for the record, I'm just scrolling down and I'm just gonna go with the first name that Sage posted.
Sounds great.
Alright, first name I have on here is Zion Jakinski, or Demon Child.
Okay, is there anyone against approving Zion Jakinski or Demon Child for play? Okay, that one is approved. Hars, can you give us the next name, please?
Next name is Madison Meyer.
Is anyone against approving Madison Meyer for play? Okay, thank you. Hars, the next name?
Baron Falco.
Is anyone against approving Bear and Falco for play? Okay, and the next, and I believe last, I might have lost count.
There's two more.
Okay, what's the next one?
The next one is Jack Harvester or Dylan.
Is anyone against approving Jack Harvester or Dylan for play? Okay, thank you. And the final name, Hars?
Regdar or Elijah Blake.
Is anyone against approving Ragdar or Elijah Blake for play? Okay, all 5 minors are approved to play some Amp Guard.
Booyah.
On behalf of Ice Fire Bay, I'd like to thank you all so much for allowing these members to play, and I hope that you'll enjoy it if they show up at your park one of these days. But look out for them, because they're small and they're quick and they're good at what they do.
I always like a new challenge.
All right, guys, that wraps up everything I had for tonight's agenda. Was there anything that anyone here wished to discuss before we adjourn?
I had one small question. When is our next Principality All Thing?
That is an excellent question, and I will admit I don't actually have one scheduled, but I do need to, so I will work on that, and I will alert you guys as soon as possible. Did you have something you wanted added to it?
Negatory. I was just kind of wondering when it was going to be.
Yeah, I got caught up in so many of these other projects, I totally forgot to schedule all things, and that's my bad, but I rectify that.
Totally. You got a lot going, boss. I did have one more question. When is our next board of directors meeting? Is it next week or the week after?
It's the 4th. Oh, see, now I'm confused. I don't remember. I think we did wind. It's all on the board of directors forms, and it's on the Google Calendar. But I want to say we did end up back on the 4th Tuesday at 6:30, because that's the only time all of us and Hadelin can make it.
Okay, I was just wondering, making sure that we've made that change with enough time to actually hold that meeting.
Yeah, it only requires 10 days, and our schedule shows that we will have the CoC meeting the 2nd week of the month and the BOD meeting the 4th week. So we have plenty of time, and it's announced now. It's on the calendar and everything. We may, actually, I'm glad you asked this, we may have to schedule an additional meeting or just change the schedule of that one, which is something we can talk about on Facebook, and then we'll schedule something and make sure we give 10 days notice. But because we will need to do approve a signer change for Frozen Coast bank account with the new PM, so we may have that meeting sooner rather than later.
Cool beans.
Aren't we bringing that up for the majority of new PMs anyway?
Well, yes, but Frozen Coast just this weekend elected a pro tem PM to finish this reign, so they will need to make that change.
And actually, this weekend we will be electing our temporary PM for the rest of this reign as well. So maybe we could get that all taken care of in the same board meeting.
Totally. I didn't realize that was happening down there, but yeah, we definitely could wrap those into the same meeting.
Is there any way you could also maybe, and I can do it too, but can we bug Hadelin after we've approved that change, if we approve that change, to get her down here so we can actually change hands on the bank? Because right now we're still working with Niall to get site fees every Sunday.
Yeah, that's part of what that's exactly what I'm talking about, is we need to make that changeover on the signers there. I don't know that Hadelin necessarily needs to be here in person. They've just taken a signed document as long as it's not a copy and it's her signature on there. So like, you know, she can't sign it and then fax it down here and then we sign it. It's got to be the original signature. But either, I mean, we can get it from, she can come down, one of us, someone going up can get it, but we'll make sure that happens. Yeah.
Cool beans.
All right, guys. Did anyone have anything else?
I guess it's sort of a follow-up. I know it's been a bit since we talked about the whole thing with Ty, but has there been any new reports recently?
I have not heard any. I guess I figured you would be the first to know if there was.
Yeah, myself or Gideon, because I know he goes to Ravenstone pretty regularly too.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Gideon, you want to throw us a message if you've heard anything there when you get a second? Okay, Gideon says the last time he was there, post warning, he behaved well, but he hasn't been out in a few weeks. So yeah, I guess there's no news on that front, and in this situation, no news is good news.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely take it.
All right, cool beans. Well, thank you all for your time, and I will chat at you all later.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
And Gideon, you can go ahead and kill that recording.